Good evening, brothers and sisters. This is your founder and host of KYP, Alejandro Ibrahim, coming to you with another episode of Conscious Information. Today we have Brother Shelby Stokes with us. He is going to give us some insight onto black male empowerment and the state of the black man in America and, quite frankly, in the world today. So, with that being said, would you like to introduce yourself, Brother Stokes?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. And first off, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to connect such a dynamic platform. I am just overjoyed with everything that you guys are accomplishing there. So just a little brief history about myself that's relevant to the topic that you're presenting. I started out as a young man who scrambled in the streets, and we all know what scramble is. Y'all calling it hustle today. I came from a two-parent household, but they divorced when I was young. But my mother did an excellent job of making sure that I never heard a negative word about my father. She made sure that I was able to form my own opinions and ideas and thoughts about who he was as a man. But I also was connected to all my uncles on both sides of my family, as well as both of my grandfathers. So I was raised around a lot of men. So I've seen who men can be, good, bad, and indifferent. And then also, just to put this in context, I have been married twice. And at this present time, I'm walking the path as a black man, really truly examining myself to see if I'm even supposed to be married. And that is something that is making me have a bit of conflict with my faith, because culturally here in America, it is taught to us that everyone should be married. Every woman should have her own husband. Every husband should have his own wife. But if you go back and check most of the Holy Scriptures, not everybody was married. So it is something that we have. So that's something I'm going through personally, and I think it would fit what we're going to discuss here today, because at this present time of me accomplishing my vision and what it is I want to see come to pass in these next 5 to 15 years, there may not be a need for me to even have a wife next to me or a woman next to me. I might be able to just accomplish it as a man that stands on his own 2 feet, that has his principles and his purpose. So now let's talk about the vision. The vision started in 2004. And immediately, as it was brought to me, it was all about male empowerment. It was all about upliftment of the black man. And it was all about, eventually I was able to bring the terminology to myself. But from the gate, it was always about group economics. It was all about what we, the term that was most popular at that time was kingdom building. So it's all about nation building. It's all about autonomy. It's all about self-sufficiency. And even unto this day, the portion of the vision that I am seeing that needs to be accomplished at this time is the factual and actual acquirement of land, whether it be in another country, on another continent, but it must be our land, and we must build our communities. We must build our infrastructure. We must build our economic system, and we must raise these items to a level that can be termed autonomous and sovereign. And once we acquire those titles, then we can enter back into what this world system would call geopolitical economics. And then we can begin to trade back and forth with other nations for the sole benefit of our nation.
Most definitely. That was good. Because a lot of people, we still have this integrationist thought period that, we have to be with them in order to get all this money. Like what you're speaking to is so important, because we need our own system. We're practicing our own culture, because you can't bring us into their culture and expect us to survive. We're not being our true selves when we're not practicing our own. So one thing that you did in 2020, before 2021, was that you brought up 5 good points I reposted on my Instagram. You said, 1, Black men in 2021, we must set up our legacies. You said number 2, we gotta be men that will build a community. Number 3, develop an economic and political power for ourselves. Number 4, step into the role of father and brother more than the role of husband and lover. And number 5, which I think is really important, because Dion can attest to this, a lot of brothers these days, they don't know how to do this. Stop entertaining bad women. So
Yes.
to sum that all up, like what inspired you to create those 5 things, and like what's the essence of it of all?
The inspiration came from just my daily interactions with the young men and men that I get the opportunity to counsel, or I get the opportunity to impart wisdom to. But the actual essence of those 5 points really came behind me examining what was it that I actually found myself attracted to, and I had to trace that back to the why. Why was I attracted to those different components that make up what we could call, and I did use the terminology, and I respect your format, so I won't say it, but we'll say it like this: the definition of a female dog, and we know today they'll put the BADD in front of that. So the tracing of the why I was attracted to a certain body frame, a certain hair length, a certain skin tone, a certain way of speech, almost literally to a certain section of America, or even to a certain country or Caribbean island or anything like that. I had to trace the why. And what I come to find out, and that's what brought all 5 points to me, what I come to find out is I, even at the age that I am at now, am still allowing for someone else's influence through my culture, through this American society, to influence the type of man I should be in order to acquire the trinkets and baubles of this American society, of this Black American culture. And what I know I have to tear myself away from, and what I know that all of us as Black men, and I use the term Black because that's the term we identify with when we're found on this soil, in this America. But what we as Black men have to tear ourselves away from and really truly sit for a while is that we don't have identity outside of the influence of this America.
Truth. That's big.
Go ahead, sir.
No, that's big. That's big. Keep going, brother. Keep going.
No, so what I ended up doing with myself, because I have a lot of colloquialisms and sayings that I live by that are deeply embedded within me. And one of those is, I can't give this out to anybody else until I live it for myself. So there are nights where I literally am doing battle with myself behind certain things. And it may take months, it may take years, it may take weeks, it may take days, it may take hours. It just depends on how much of a student I want to be. If I want to be well educated about myself, I got to sit still and do battle with myself to rid myself of that stuff that no longer serves me. So then I can stand in front of young brothers, in front of my other brothers that have my skin tone, that have my background, that understand the ways that I was raised within this America. And I can hand those things out to them with this understanding. Not everybody is going to pick it up, and not everybody is meant to pick it up. And so I can then just give it away in the moment that it's supposed to be given away.
That's true, because it's always a battle within. Like, I recognize that myself, because like when I made my 20 principles, I told them, because I first introduced it to the Men's Achievement Center at my school at North Carolina Central University, right? And They was upset when I said the black man shouldn't be having random sex. Oh, come on, man. It's difficult for us out here. The brothers was out here. They was out here having a whole fit. And, I've talked to them also about how I say, some of these principles are difficult. It's going to be hard for us to entertain. Being a young black man in America, and, with the way society's hypersexualizing everything, I know it's going to be hard for a lot of us to follow this. But I say you got to do that within yourself. You got to win that battle. So that's another thing I always emphasize on. I think one of the biggest problems today that I believe is that there is an attack on black male masculinity widespread. Now, we live in America. I don't really know if you could tell me, because I am Nigerian. I do, see a lot of news that goes down there, but I'm not seeing really an effort to destroy the black masculinity over there, unless they're kind of trying to say that the man is being oppressive and things like that in a way. But here it's a serious effort. I don't know. It's so serious that sometimes I don't have words even to describe it, because you be on social media platforms, you can't believe what you're hearing now. But do you think that they succeeded? As Dr. Francis Chris Welsing said, they were going to come specifically after black men to destroy us. Do you think they've succeeded, or do you think we can still win this battle?
In all honesty, brother, and I love that your platform is about honesty. In all honesty, they can't win, because black men will continue to be born of black women who were impregnated by black men. So you will never, ever be able to break the continuity or the forward progress of the black man. So no, they'll never win, and they haven't won. What we have to do as black men in this America, in this day, is put ourselves in a position to not so much try to compete rhetoric for rhetoric, because oftentimes, and here's something that we have to understand as black men, oftentimes we don't have the capacity to just project words as fast as women can. Women can project words, and this is not a man versus woman issue. What I'm trying to say is, oftentimes what you're seeing on social media is not from the hand of a man. So if it's not from the hand of a man, we 9 times out of 10 are looking at it like, well, we gotta say something back. No, you don't. You just gotta be a man. You just gotta be a man and keep being a man. Let that happen. And I'm going back to use an analogy. One of the best examples I had growing up, being a very little boy, was that all the men would gather either at the front porch or out in the yard, and they have their little circle and their time of laughing and joking. And all the women in my family would either congregate in the living room or in the kitchen. Now, if there was an issue in our family or an issue in the neighborhood, and we had some kind of influence within the neighborhood, the women would come to the men. Oftentimes, one wife would go to her husband. And here's the example I'll use. I had a cousin who got pregnant, and the young man she got pregnant by didn't have a job. So my aunt went to my uncle about my cousin and said, hey, y'all need to go talk to that dude, and y'all need to make sure he get himself a job, because we're not gonna raise no child in this family, and he not gonna know his daddy, and his daddy not gonna be able to provide for him. So then my uncle, my daddy, my other uncle went and visited this young man. Now, the visit was not to beat him up or to scare him or to intimidate him. It was literally, hey man, it's an opening at the job where I work at. You're gonna go down there, you're gonna fill that application out, and you are gonna get a job, because you're gonna take care of it. And yes. See, that's what I'm trying to say. We didn't have to have rhetoric back. We just had to be men. And that's what, and that's something that and I don't want to say your generation. I don't want to say millennials or Generation Z or.
No, you can say that.
Okay.
You can say that. You can say
but
that.
I don't want to say you guys lost it. You figured out how to transmute it to fit your generation. And the thing is that looking for the wisdom from us, you just need to be able to take that wisdom and continue to transmute it to make it fix. So when you're looking at social media, think of it as, oh, they're in the kitchen talking. Let them have that conversation. Let them have that because I'm gonna get up and go to work. I'm gonna get up and fix this car. I'm gonna get up and make sure groceries are in the refrigerator. I'm gonna get up and make sure my kids got shoes, and I'm gonna make sure, because again, they might be talking about a dude down the street. They ain't talking about you because you on your square. You taking care of your business. You doing what you're supposed to do as a Black man, leading the best way you know possible to lead. So don't pay so much attention to it, and just and when I say don't pay attention to it, don't think that you have to compete rhetoric for rhetoric. Just continue to be a man and move as a man.
Okay, that's true. That's big truth right there. Big truth. What do you think is the biggest issue affecting Black men today? I personally feel that, and I mean, you, as you said, your parents divorced, but you still had that male father figure there, to give you a good guidance. You had other men there who were there to give you guidance, but I'm not. Well, you were born like back when we had our own independent communities, if I'm correct, sort of, kind of, right? Or
after I was born in '72, so I was born after the death of Dr. King and Malcolm X and the disbanding of the Black Panthers.
Yeah, so you were born in the era where where we were slowly going into, the loss of Black fatherlessness in the home. So you still kind of like had that remembrance of when Black men were being men. But today, for me, it's just a lack of Black men in the household, because a lot of brothers, I think it says 70% of Black youth are growing up without a father in the home, which is mind blowing to me. So that's what I think is the biggest issue affecting Black men, because when you don't have that male figure there, it plays an important role in your life. But what do you feel is the biggest issue?
I think the biggest issue is and this is from my personal viewpoint and everything that I've participated in as far as moving forward the Black community as best as I can. I think our biggest issue as Black men in America, again, I can't speak for anywhere else in the world, we refuse. It's not that we can't build great relationships with each other. We refuse to do it. Trace that back. If you do this, if you study, become the student of the why. Why are we refusing to be in relationship with each other? I think we're allowing, again, a systematic approach by a society, by an influential culture that is teaching us you don't need each other. And that's a lie. That's a lie. I need you, little brother. There are places that you can go that I'll never be able to go, but you can take me with you when you go. There's places that I can go that you won't go. But if we're in relationship with each other and we have good communication between each other, and we strive on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a yearly basis to make sure that our relationship, our connection never breaks, and it's always authentic and it's always full of accountability, then I can go where I go and you'll come with me, because guess what'll happen? I might be standing in front of somebody and they'll ask me a question and I'll go, I can't answer that, but if you give me 2 minutes, I can pull somebody in this room and they can answer it for you. So I think our biggest issue as Black men, and yes, you're right, it's a product of not having a Black man in the home, as an example, is that we refuse relationship with each other.
Yeah, that I agree with that, because they hate unity. The oppressive system, they hate unity. They know, because when they took us from Africa, we was unifying the slave ship. That's why they had the buck breakers. We were unified when we were fighting colonization. That's why they had the BS. We were unified with the Black Panthers, Nation of Islam. That's why they did the CIA and the FBI on us. So I completely agree with you on that. One last thing I want to round out to wrap up the interview is, what is the biggest advice that you would give young Black men out there today? My biggest advice going first is, I would tell brothers, stay on purpose, because a lot of times you get around young women, money, other things, you get distracted, you forget what's going on. Before you know it, some of the brothers out here, they want to be a simp. or they trying to do this whole alpha male thing. So they just trying to press women, but they wasting money, they waste their energy and time, you know, so they get off their purpose, and before you know it, they lost. So that's what I feel like a lot of young brothers out here are doing, especially in the college level. They're wasting their time. So what would you feel, what would be the best piece of advice you would give a young brother today?
And mine would be based on age range. So if I'm talking to young brothers between the age of 19 and 25, or let's say 19 and 30, between the ages of 19 and 30, brother, read and write. Read. I don't care if you're reading comic books. Read. Get your vocabulary together. Learn these words that are being, there are words that are becoming, there are words that are being invented today that weren't around 40 years ago. And if you are not able to read, you're going to be lost. And again, like a fork and a knife, read and write. Constantly write what's in your head, write what's in your heart, write it down on a piece of paper. And here's why. Writing is the quickest form of accountability that you can give to yourself. Because once you write something down, you're now accountable to what you wrote down. I don't care if you wrote it down 5 years ago. If you go back and review it, something inside of you is going to go, oh man, I said I was going to do that. Oh man, look at what I was thinking 5 years ago. And you're going to become instantaneously reminded and become accountable for it in that moment. And you can open up the door to a whole new possibility. So that's 19 to 30. I'm 48. I'll be 49 this year. So 30 to 45, my biggest advice to a Black man would be, brother, get yourself some property. Work to get property. I don't care if you get a half acre. I don't care if you get a condo. I don't care if you go to Jamaica and get a beach house. I don't care what you get you some property. And here's why. Ownership is wealth. Ownership is wealth. If we're talking about nation building, if we're talking about generational wealth, how can you truly acquire such things if you don't have ownership?
That's truth.
And the greatest form of ownership that we have in America is land. And again, if you don't want to believe me, go back and read your history of why land became so important in America. You'll understand some things. You'll understand why economics is the way it is in America. You'll understand why the political system is the way it is and why it doesn't really truly work for us, because we don't have ownership. We don't have true ownership because we can't. How much land do we actually own as a nation?
That's a good question.
How much land?
Because brothers and sisters out here, they're talking about reparations, right? The only form of reparations I'm for is land. We were originally promised land. Land is the only thing to where if I have a pond, I can pay people can pay me to go fish in the pond. So that's already an asset. If I have trees, I can harvest the trees and get lumber. All land equals asset. People think that money comes and goes, but if you own land, you're on top of a living asset. You understand? That's an asset you can sell. You can sell that land. You can farm that land. It will always bring you back a profit. That is so important, brother, because a lot of people don't understand that. And we also need to open up the idea as well of going to other Black nations and owning property. Because America's already, you can already see it, the property value in America is going up. While in other Black nations, brothers out here spending $50,000 to pay off a mortgage, you could probably buy like 10 acres in a whole nother country with that same amount of money. And
that's something that I really want to talk to you personally about based on your background. And the reason why is when I sent my packet to you, you'll see that I do have a company, and that consulting firm, it is my desire this year, 2021, to actually form a virtual and an actual bridge a bridge of connectability between the continent, the motherland, and the other countries of the diaspora. And so I really would love to be able to sit down and talk with you and see how we can, because here's what I really would like to see, brother. I really would like to see your platform, because of your history. Now, don't let it get outside your mind, your realm of understanding, your realm of awareness. Let me say that. Your background and your platform is something that can build a type of pipeline where we could have a section of our community here in America asking, fighting, drafting paperwork that can demand reparations, but then at the same time, another part of our community can go, we're gonna go and set up here, because if they still wanna stall us out, they'll have to watch all us walk away.
That's true. And to be real, we already doing that. We already doing that in Ghana and Sierra Leone. I've already seen it. So we already doing that. Like, have you heard of Search for Yuruhu?
No, sir, I haven't. I have
Look him up. Contact him. He's already starting a whole Back to Africa movement down there. There's a lot of people already doing it, and that's very important, because we do need to have, because I mean, you saw that it's a Capitol building, and not that it should be any of our business, but you saw what they did. We need an exit. I've been telling people we need an exit strategy. Like for me, I'm trying to get my passport this year. That's my goal. You know, because I've never been to the motherland. My dad's from there, but I've never been. But like that's the goal. We need an exit strategy in case anything goes down. Because today it's the Capitol building. You don't know what it can be tomorrow, but you always need to be prepared. And being that we're Black people, we have, you see, most Black people, they don't understand that their ancestral tie is more of an asset than anything. Yeah, you may not know your great ancestors that came on slave ship, but hey, you have countries like Sierra Leone giving citizenship to people who have genetic ties to their tribes in that country.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. This movement's already kicked off. A sister has a Blacksit movement. She's from England. She's already saying Black people need to leave the West in America and come back to Africa and claim what's theirs. You understand? So we already have it to where our ancestry is an asset. No other race of people can say that, really. Maybe the Asian community can, but white people can't say that. Because England bought up. You can't buy nothing in England. You can rent, you can't buy. Every other country, the land's already been set. But Africa is not like that. Because you got a lot of brothers and sisters over there trying to come over here because, you know, they feel like it's better. And they might have a reason now or two, because I'm going to be real. The governments aren't really ours. France owns a part of Africa indirectly. You know, Nigeria, they have some problems too. We all got problems, so that's why they come here. But we can also change that. You understand? There's already a movement to start that change. So that's why I'm telling you, we're the only people. The white man can't say that. Latino, they can say that somewhat. But an Asian community can somewhat too, but a lot don't want to go back. We're the only people to where we have ties to another country that's giving us a hand, and we just got to shake it and make a deal. So that's another beauty in it.
Well, then I definitely am reignited.
Yeah.
And I will make sure that we continue this building process. And there's one more thing I want to make sure that I speak on, in case those that are watching your platform would want even more. There is a leadership course that my company provides, and it is underneath the banner of the community initiative that I have began, SALT, the Strategic Alliance of Leaders and Teachers. And if they would want more information about that leadership course, then they could definitely get in touch with you, because I'm going to tell you about it. Again, that's going to be off air. We're going to have a good conversation off air. So
yeah, most definitely.
I look forward to it. Same thing with you, Dion. I look forward to it. I saw your Instagram page, bro. I need to get whipped into shape. I gotta have this baby, man. I'm sitting on a 40-year-old baby that don't want to be born.
Yes, brother. You know, cut out the meat first. Cut out the meat first, then you can keep on moving. Because once you cut out meat, you're already losing that off. Try to switch to 2 meals a day. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm skinny, but I mean, I don't want to get big enough. No disrespect, but I just don't want to like get big enough.
Oh, no,
yeah. So just continue that, and you'll get better. And watch what you eat, and get off high fructose corn syrup. That's a killer. And that's another thing we gotta talk about, because Black mental health is a serious issue. Because a lot of us, some of us are too many of us are dying before a Social Security check is handed out. So we have no future. But I want to thank you, Brother Stokes, for coming on today. I appreciate it. I want to thank you. This is a great conversation. We're making big moves this year in 2021. So I want to thank you very much, brother.
All right, now you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I look forward to what's going to grow from this.
You too, brother. Thank you.
All right, now I'll holler.
Yes, sir.